Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Meraj Kidwai, and you're watching Vertex, the solution of every need. I hope you all are doing wonderfully well, doing great in your lives. To know more about me, you can go and check out the website, that is www.vertexsolution.com. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to talk about in this video today, it's a very important topic for as awareness for parents to understand, and of course, in general, of course, it is very important to be aware of this kind of learning disability that I'm going to discuss in this video in brief and short for your awareness. I'm going to talk about dyslexia. Dyslexia is a disorder, it's a learning disability, ladies and gentlemen, and it's often diagnosed at early childhood education programs or when a child comes in grade 2, 3 or 1, when they have difficulty in pronunciations or majorly they have difficulties in reading and comprehension, of course. Now, what is comprehension? Comprehension means to understand anything. So when a child is unable to read, and if they learn to read even, so they do not remember what they have read. Okay, so there some sort of difficulties happen. There are quite many symptoms, but it is not necessary that symptoms clearly says that a child is dyslexic. So I want to be very clear here that if a child is making some sort of spelling errors, if they have some difficulty in reading certain words or switching the letters, or they are unable to recognize the letters, so it needs time to understand the symptoms and signs of dyslexia before making diagnosis about that whether a child is dyslexic or not. Probably it's a bit of training or a little bit of help is required with the child rather than telling to the parents that the child is dyslexic. So dyslexia is a disorder, it is a learning disability. uh, the symptoms of dyslexia is that a child is unable to read, unable to understand what they have read. They're unable to remember, of course, what they have read properly. So they have problem even writing. Okay, they switch and confuse between letters. They're unable to pronounce properly the phoneme sounds. They're unable to pronounce them properly. They're not fluent in a particular language. So in short, we can also say that they have difficulty in learning languages. So it is a sort of a language proficiency difficulty or a disability for the child to grasp or learn. But it doesn't mean that they cannot learn. There are certain sorts of techniques and certain types of a little bit of changes in the methodology, or I would say the pedagogy, that a tutor or an educator can use or is using over the child who is facing such learning disability or learning difficulty, so that the child can be trained to read, write properly, or to comprehend or to understand. But coming to this conclusion, which is again the objective of recording this video, is that it is important to do a formal evaluation and a formal test before labeling anyone as dyslexic. Okay, because it's about the life of the child, life of the student, and it affects the parents as well. So a formal evaluation can only be done by a child psychologist, a clinical psychologist, or a psychiatrist, right? So you can go and have a session or consultation with them before coming to this conclusion that whether the child is dyslexic or not. So in short and brief, I've told you that what are the symptoms of dyslexia. There are certain types of techniques, there are certain types of methodologies and the pedagogies. A trained professional educator can plan, who have knowledge about child psychology, who have knowledge about the subject knowledge, whatever they are training into, and it's specifically for language. So they should be knowing about it, the signs and symptoms of it. They should be enough trained to choose the right methodology as per the child's psychology, as per the problem the child is facing with the disabilities, and can train and upskill the child over this. So, but it is very important for a formal evaluation should be done by a licensed clinical psychologist, child psychologist, or of course a psychiatrist before coming to the conclusion. So basically, if there are, we just simply cannot say if a child is making spelling errors, or if a child is unable to understand a letter or a word or a pronunciation once, twice, or thrice, and if you're repeating it for the fourth time, it is not necessary that the child is dyslexic. Okay, there can be an issue of the pedagogy, there can be an issue the methodology you are teaching with the child. Every child is unique, so it's not important that if the child is unable to understand your pedagogy or your methodology, so the child is dyslexic, right? It needs a proper formal evaluation. Of course, children who may be diagnosed, they have normal intelligence, they are smart enough, it's not any sort of an illness, it is just it makes the processing of the brain to gather and interpret information a little slower, but certain techniques can be used with the child to upskill the child over this. So this is how I would like to make you aware. Do research in detail. There are types of dyslexia also, detail about it. Consult with a licensed psychologist and a psychiatrist before coming to a conclusion or a diagnosis about this learning disability, right? So thank you so much for stopping by. If you need my assistance anywhere, please get in touch with me, and you'll find the details on the website. Have a great day.